Today we're going to be talking about the history of conflict between Russia and Ukraine from 1917 to 2022. So in 1917, the Ukrainian War of Independence begins. This started, of course, after the Soviet Union signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with the German Empire, ending Russian involvement in World War I, and ceding control over Ukraine, the Baltic states, and Belarus over to Germany. Then when the Germans lost the war, Brest-Litovsk was essentially nullified, and this allowed the Soviets to begin to move back into Ukraine. And after a series of battles, Ukraine was eventually lost Kiev, now called Kyiv, and signed an agreement with the Poles. However, the Poles managed to push the Russians out, but they couldn't get far enough, and Ukraine officially joined the Soviet Union, only to gain independence yet again in 1991 with the Ukrainian referendum during the collapse of the Soviet Union. A majority of the country, almost all of it, voted 90% in favor of independence. However, one of the regions that didn't was Crimea and the independent city of Sevastopol on the coast of the Black Sea. Now, this is, of course, hugely important due to the fact that this was one of the excuses that the Russians then used in 2014 when there was a conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Again, this time in the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine, when a couple of regions tried to break away and join Russia, and Russia also at this time annexed Crimea, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 1914 as a preface to the current invasion of Ukraine as of 2022 and 2023. This information is only up to date as of Thursday, February 9th, 2023. So, when the war begins, the Ukrainians attempt to hold in the east towards Kharkiv and in the north from Belarus and Russia near the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. Over the next few months, however, the Ukrainians did manage to push the Russians back closer towards the border. However, then the Russians managed to have a counterattack and the front lines have solidified as of now. The Russians are now beginning to push westward yet again from the east. However, this has yet to make any solid progress. Of course, we will keep you up to date, as we always do. This has been Charlie from C&C Talks After Hours. I hope you've enjoyed this small series we've done, and leave a like if you want more.